Hey folks, Frank Zorrilla here, Zor Capital, 2/23/2020, doing a quick video here in regards to a tweet that I posted on Saturday. That basically I just put the top 25 year-to-date winners, and I just wrote down what do they have in common. What market myths are they busting? What scan can you build with this information? What triggered the move? Did they set up after the initial move? And basically, there's a lot of things out there that says, hey, in order for a stock to move up, they got to have certain criterias. Some of it is true, some of it's not. You can find out for yourself very simply by just looking at this year's biggest winners. Okay, and then you can start to really find out on your own whether what you're reading or what you read or what people have said is true. This is all short-term stuff, all right? So what moves the stock in the short term might be different than what moves the stock in the long term. But either way, if you get a short-term time frame, I think there's nothing better to do than studying the biggest winners within your time frame. That's just the bottom line. And if you do this on a consistent basis year in and year out, you're going to find the same commonalities across the board. So here are some of the names. What's going to happen is that some of these names you've never heard of, okay? Most of these names, came from 52-week lows, stocks that have done nothing for years and then suddenly exploded. You're going to notice, that most of them are in certain industries. You're going to notice that some of them are below a certain price. Most of them, by the way, 90% of them are, below a certain price, below a certain market cap. Flow is a certain, less than a certain amount. And this is going to happen year in and year out. This is not going to change for the most part. So here you have Genprex, biotechnology stock, IPO'd, I guess, a year ago. Went up, went down, has done nothing for months, and then suddenly it just made a big move here on this day where it traded 52 million shares, obviously with some type of news. So normally you're not going to be involved as a technical trader. You're not going to be involved in this move beforehand because you're not, okay? The guys who believe in the company, who believe in the stock, who are following the story, probably own the stock beforehand. So, they got this move, but you're going to miss it. That's no big deal. What you want to do is you want to wait for this stock to set up, okay, like it did right over here. It went up, it went down, and then it went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a mean reversion pattern, one of my favorite patterns in the short term. And then what happens is very simply, you have a stock that's printing a pattern of lower highs and lower lows, and then suddenly that pattern changes. Trail, here's another stock, another biotech name, $4 a share. I recently played the stock right over here and right over here, but similar situation. The stock has done nothing at all, trading near a 52-week low, and then suddenly it catches momentum, it catches fire. Some big news comes out here. It trades 54 million shares that day. Okay, you're probably going to miss that move, but here it sets up here. It's an inside day. Here's the VWAP from that big day. It sets up here. Going through this high, the stock is up roughly, it went up roughly 65% in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4 days, okay? And then it goes sideways to down and it starts to set up here again. We got involved right over here on 219 and 380. I no longer own the stock, by the way. Here's another one, TOCA, nothing here. Here's a $2 stock again. Has done nothing for a couple of years, trading near a 52-week low, and then suddenly news comes out, the stock goes up and it trades 50 million shares. There's nothing to do right here, right now as a swing trader, but at some point this is going to set up just like Trill did, like this, or like this, okay? So far we've gone to 3 stocks and we've seen some common things. Market cap, 69 million, 45 million, 21 million, float 10 million shares, 22 million here CODX 8 million, 8.2, that's the float. Market cap of 52 million. Again, a lot of people say why are you looking at stocks near 52-week lows? So far we've seen the 4 biggest year-to-date winners so far came from 52-week lows, okay? Another, diagnostic research. This falls into the biotech healthcare sector. Big move here, 35 million shares. The stock is kind of sloppy, but eventually, more than likely, it's going to start to tighten up, and that's where the opportunity comes in. Contraction leads to expansion. That's the bottom line. And normally, when you have a stock like this that's just getting started, and it starts to contract, chances are that the next move is going to be higher. CBLI, another biotech stock. Here's another stock trading near 52-week lows, and then suddenly it goes up. Nothing here right now, but eventually it'll more than likely set up. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to track these stocks over the next 45 days, and they'll start to set up just like Trill did, okay, where they'll start to tighten up. And at the very end of the consolidation, what you tend to see is these tight candles, inside days, NR 7 days. And then what you want to do is you want to get involved in the first hint of range expansion. Okay, ADAP, here's another one that we recently played right over here. We bought it, it failed so far. But here's another stock, near 52-week lows. Okay, I mean, what are you going to do? So, you only buy stocks near highs. So the move from, let's say, for example, from $1 to $15 a share doesn't count. That doesn't make any sense, right? Here's a stock that here in the short term has got extreme momentum, has some type of big news right over here, trades 55 million shares, and now it's trading sideways. This thing is setting up, all right? This eventually is going to make another move higher, more than likely, and you want to be involved. Fresh momentum. Space U, this is similar. This is Space. Here's another stock. Nothing at all. 50,000 shares, 700 shares, 107,000 shares, and then suddenly it starts to move higher. Okay, I'm not a big fan of chasing stocks, but this gave a pretty good opportunity. Right over here, it starts to tighten up, and then after this big move here, look how it starts to tighten up these candles. Inside day. Here's another pretty much almost another inside day right over here. And again, on very low volume. What you normally see is contraction in price and contraction in volume, and that's what tells you pretty much that the stock is ready to make a move higher. And so far we got, this thing has got a market cap of 3.2 billion. That's more on the high end. That's not the norm. But so far we got a bunch of names that we have no idea what they are. These are not household names. NNVC, this thing started to move higher. Also came from the 52-week low, probably more than likely due to the coronavirus. Moves higher, and then here we got involved right over here in this stock. Down 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. Got involved right over here through this high. I think the stock goes higher here in the short term, next 3 to 5 days. So the point is that when you go through the list, what's going to happen is you're going to start to write down some of the common themes that you're coming across. Price of the stock, market cap, flow, maybe sector. And then you're going to start to question yourself whether what you're reading or heard, is it true? Do stocks need to be above a certain price for them to move higher? Do they need to make a certain amount of money? Do they need to be established? And then you start, busting all these myths, and then you can create your own scan based on this information. That's all you need to do. And chances are, once you create that scan based on the information that you have right over here, which is very simply price, industry, market cap, latest flow, you can build a scan based on that, and you're more than likely going to find some big movers that are going to pop up here. And again, the interest is not to get involved before the first leg higher. That's going to be very tough to get involved in a company that's trading near 52-week lows, and then you're not going to catch this first move. What's going to happen is that it's going to pop, and then it will set up again eventually over the next 25 to 40 days. And your interest, very simply, is to catch that second move higher. That first move, that's not for you. That's not for us. All right, unless we know the story beforehand. I mean, look at these people. Whoever fell in love with this stock based on the story, rode the stock all the way down, and then suddenly it moved higher. Now 41 million shares. Now what you're waiting for again is a proper setup, and then you want to jump higher for the second move higher. So that's pretty much it. That was the reason for the tweet. Just so that way you can start studying the biggest winners in the short term. And then you can build a scan based on what you find. Now, when you have a larger account, you more than likely won't be able to buy some of these things because they're, low price stocks. So you might want to switch from, from all stocks, so maybe to the Russell 1000 names. And then you do the same exercise. You start studying some of the common themes that you're finding based on these biggest winners from the Russell 1000. And based on that, you go out there and you create a scan. Did they go up a certain amount in a certain day with X amount of volume? And you start to write these things down. You start to notice, all the sectors, which are the ones that really pop out every single time. Is it technology? Is it banks? Is it oil? And then maybe you focus on those, okay? So trade them well and be well.